Most people don't notice this moment. It's very small. You're thinking about something slightly uncomfortable, something you don't fully understand yet, and then you leave it. You pick up your phone, you distract yourself, you move to something easier, not consciously, almost automatically. And it makes sense. Not every thought feels easy to stay with. Some feel inconvenient, some feel unclear, some feel like they might lead somewhere you don't want to go right now. So you step away. But if you pay attention, this happens often, multiple times a day, and over time, something subtle begins to form. You get used to not staying, not fully, not long enough to understand what was actually there. This is where writing becomes something more than a habit. It becomes a way of staying, not solving, not fixing, just staying and acknowledging. Because when you sit down with the page, you're making a small decision to not leave immediately. You're choosing to remain with a thought for a little longer than you usually would. At first, that might not feel significant. You write a few lines, you pause, you're not sure what you're even trying to say. But you don't get up, you stay. And that moment right there is where something begins to change. Not in the content of what you're writing, but in your relationship with yourself. Because staying with your thoughts is a form of attention. And attention over time becomes a kind of loyalty. Not the dramatic kind, the quiet kind. The kind that says, even if this is unclear, I'm not going to move away immediately. Most people don't practice that. You're taught to move on quickly, to resolve things, to distract ourselves when something feels uncomfortable. So when you begin to stay, even for a single page, it feels unfamiliar. You might feel restless, you might want to stop halfway. That's part of it. Because you're interrupting a pattern, and the page becomes the place where that interruption happens. Not all at once, just for a few moments. And if you do that consistently, something shifts. You begin to trust yourself differently, not because you always understand what you're feeling, but because you know you won't leave yourself immediately. That changes how you move through your day. You pause more often, you notice more, you don't rush to escape every uncomfortable thought. Not because they've become easier, but because you've practiced staying in the moment. If you think about it, the hardest part isn't writing, it's remaining. Remaining when the thought isn't clear, remaining when the feeling isn't pleasant, remaining when there's no immediate resolution. And most of the time, we don't. So it's not about if I'm writing enough. It's about when something in me feels uncomfortable or unclear, do I stay or do I leave? Just notice what your answer is. The next time you sit down to write, pay attention to the moment you feel like stopping. Not when you're done, but when it gets slightly difficult to continue. And instead of closing the page, stay for one more line, just one, because that's how this builds. Not through long entries, not through perfect reflection, but through small moments of not leaving. And over time, those moments add up. They become something you can rely on. A quiet kind of presence with yourself, the kind that doesn't disappear the moment things become uncertain, and that is what it means to stay. When was the last time you did this for yourself? Do you remember?